Listen, I'm okay with the government looking and doing an audit
Looking.
on
That
their
looking don't
programs.
mean you destroy it first. You don't burn down the house to see what's inside
But
of
see,
it.
that's you and I have been talking about what's going on with diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I told you yesterday, I just wanted to sit down and just do something real quick because I'm not understanding the vitriol against the programs, against diversity, equity, and inclusion, to start with. I don't understand it.
I don't either. And I think that's probably why they purposely leave out. They just say the letters DEI instead of saying the words
Because it's easier
yes,
to
because
get
it's
angry at
easier.
it.
Yeah, and I think because people are lazy and don't want to do their own research. So when they hear somebody say DEI, and they don't even think to ask what that means.
I want to say people are lazy and don't want to do their own research. It's just we are accustomed to everything being handed to us. And to say that people are lazy, I don't think people know how to really research something. Because
I mean, but still, like if
you're not citing sources that you don't agree with. You're only going to cite a source that you agree with.
yeah,
I've never gotten a job because of a program. So
I didn't either. And and to me that was by design because I didn't want anybody to think that where I am it was because of somebody or because of something. I want my position in life to be because of what I worked for.
Right.
And that's what I did. So I wanted to always make sure that I had a seat at the table. So if that meant me going back to go get more education so that if I wanted another job and if they say, well, you got to have this type of education, I got it.
Right.
So I don't get the diversity. I don't get it. I don't because I'm not a benefactor of it. So that's why I don't understand it. And then I think because the politicians put a negative connotation on it. So now that when people hear it, they're going to think of something negative, and it's not because
well, I can understand like to your point the way it was packaged. If you think about it, I've been doing this certain thing with this certain group of people with this certain amount of time, right? So I'm used to their good, their bad, their comings and their goings. So I'm familiar with it. And so now we're going to open the door to some new individuals that may do things differently than I am, that can be viewed as a threat. A lot of new things and new ideas that are thrown on society or thrown on individuals. Sometimes we're comfortable in the things that we're doing, and so when you do introduce something new, it's not that I hate it, I just don't understand it.
yeah. And I think, but going back, I think that is. I guess you don't want to say laziness, but if you hear letters, or if you hear whatever, and if you don't know what it means, then you should go back and look.
But why should I go back and do
Because
something?
because why would you be upset about something like you just said? If
Well,
I don't understand something, then I'm gonna get mad.
Right.
So instead of getting mad because you don't understand, how about you just go get that understanding?
That's easy for you to say, but if that you say laziness and I say, well, I listen to Fox, News Nation, Newsmax, CNN, and that's where I get all of my information from. That's how I get my research, and and I trust them and the stuff that they're telling me. I know I don't understand, but I trust them, and so by me trusting them, I suspend my disbelief, and that's what I'm going with. And if the people who I watch, right, if my echo chamber is saying a thing, and when I leave that echo chamber and I go to work and those individuals are saying the same things, and I go to my place of worship and they're saying the same things, and then I hang out with my family and friends and they're saying the same things. If someone is saying something counter to that, that's when I'm like, I don't believe you, because everyone in my chamber is saying this.
So I guess this is where we
Disagree?
no, not disagree, but just me and that other person. Because if I hear something in my echo chamber and then somebody else and I hear something that's contrary to what the echo chamber is saying,
Right.
then me and my curiosity and my just need to have understanding will go and look, because I'm having two different stories, so I need to know which one is right, so I can know. So that's just my motivation.
Yeah, and that's your motivation, but everybody isn't motivated like that.
So maybe
and so
instead of
saying
saying
lazy?
laziness, I'm going to say lack of motivation,
right,
to go and research what it is.
Her point, I agree with you, but when what I believe isn't popular, I'm going to grab a hold to something that I disagree with you with, and that's what I want to focus on this small little thing, because you said a word I don't agree with. So let me focus on the fact that you said lazy. I'm going to eschew everything that we're talking about and just focus on the fact that you said lazy, because I don't have a real answer for you as to why I feel away, right?
Yeah. And that's why it's really kind of hard to argue this, because like you said, somebody will take a word or a phrase that you use and just kind of just harp on that and just, well, I'm not lazy because I got this and that and the third.
Right.
But I'm not saying you're lazy because, I mean, it's just in certain aspects or in certain things, the people
you lack motivation to do a thing, to do
get
further
understanding.
Yeah. But it's just, we're trying so hard not to be offensive to people that in our explanations we sound like idiots instead of just saying a thing. I don't understand the anger towards 3 letters in an alphabet that we don't say diversity, equity, and inclusion. We say DEI. And then when we have I just want to know why there's such a kerfuffle, why there's so much animus against it. I do not understand it.
Like, they think that corporations or whoever say, well, we need to hire black people, or we need to hire a certain group of people, so let's just go get this group of people. So they think that just because you went to go get that group of people, you're just getting it just because you needed that specific ethnicity, not that the ethnicity is educated to do that thing. They don't think that, because I don't know. So, because they just
But do we know that as a fact? Like, because
to me, that's how it's presented. Because why else would you have such a negative connotation of DEI?
Like when you say DEI, I promise you, for the longest, I thought it was a part of the DEA or FBI.
Yeah, you thought it was an organization.
I had no idea. And then when you turn on certain news, I'll try to watch as much different kinds of news as possible. But on some of these news outlets, folks just go out of their way to not see or live in reality. So, and that's on the left and it's on the right. Just as a caveat. I don't think either party cares. I don't think Republicans care about the American people. I don't think Democrats. And before I go even further, I just got to say this. We are fighting each other in this country. The 70-something million that voted for one and the 70-something million that voted for the other. You got 150 million people who are just at odds at each other. And we didn't even create the rules to the game. And you're trying to eat and live a prosperous life the same way as your neighbor is. But we're fighting each other based off the rules that somebody else set. And so you feel like that the man has his thumb on the scales for me because I am a man. And you feel like the scales are pressed on your end because you're a white man or whatever. And both of us are fighting over crumbs. It's like the people that throw crumbs out there from their feast that they're having, and they're entertained by us fighting each other. Like, they're billionaires in office. Like, listen to this, man. There are billionaires who are in control right now of this country, right? And what they're doing is they're making sure that this amount of thousands of people won't be able to buy groceries next month because they were fired because of fear over a program in a department that hadn't been properly audited yet. Nope, we're just going to kick these people out. So thousands of people are losing their jobs, Kimberly, and people are excited about it. Like, people are losing. I have no idea what you do. And I will not champion the fact that you lost your job. Like, that's the thing in this country. I just want you to leave me alone. Let me do the stuff that I do with my family legally. Let me worship who I want to worship. Let me eat what I want to eat. If I want to get a vaccine, I can. If I don't want to get one, I can't. If you don't like me because of my skin color, God bless you. Go with God. If you don't like you because you're a woman, that's cool. Just keep that in your house and leave me alone. I don't need you voting against me because you think I'm some threat against you. I want the same thing you want.
Everybody does.
But when it comes to work, when it comes to making a living for yourself, I do understand you being threatened because, dang, this person got a job that I wanted. Ask yourself why they got that job. Now, I think a lot of times we rationalize it by saying, oh yeah, they clearly didn't get it because they're better than me. They got it because they're a skin color or a sex or a disability or whatever. And it's not because they're as qualified as I am. And my question is, where are you getting that information from?
To me, and this is just to me,
Uh-huh.
I think it's just something that's ingrained in people
Uh-huh.
to think that they are better than a certain group of people. And so when
Okay.
they see that I didn't get something because of somebody that doesn't look like me, so it must be rigged. You know what I'm saying? So somebody must have cheated because there's no way. Because first of all, they're not smart. They're not this. They can't read. They can't. So they don't know nothing. So to me, that's what it is. They're like indoctrinated to think. And to me, nobody out here wants to say it. Like you was like, well, let's not make stuff. I mean, and that's the problem. No, everybody wants to sweep stuff under the rug and not
I wouldn't
say what it
sweep
is,
stuff
not
under
call
the
it
rug,
out.
but you have to
gotta
really
call it out.
You do have to call it out, but you also have to be careful in how you do it. You have to be very strategic. Again, like I said.
Do you though? Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think the smartest fighters are those that know that. I think the smartest fighters are the ones who don't throw a punch and are winning.
Well,
and you it's hard to have a disagreement, or it's hard to go back and forth with someone when they're the only one doing all the yelling and talking. I think I saw where one of the people on Doge was he put something out some time ago and said that he was proud to be racist and he was proud to be that before it was popular. And my question to that, right, for people who are okay with that, why?
Why is it okay to be racist? I mean, I need to know too.
So, do you think that a person who is of a different race, hearing that, is that something that makes them proud to be an American? So when you hear someone say, man, I was a racist bragging before it was popular, does that fill you with sadness?
Yeah.
Or are you like, God doggone right, I was a racist too, and it's good that we're. I don't understand it. I don't know where our hate comes from, but back to DEI. Okay, so we have people who are cheering for these programs to go away, and I do understand some of the programs that are, just. I don't know what the programs are. Like I said, I've never been a part. The jobs that I've worked in, I don't see a lot of people of color, or individuals. I'm going to take people of color out because I don't want to start anything. Because you can never have a real conversation with people because race card.
Yeah.
Okay. I've not had many jobs where the person in charge had a disability. Mm-hmm. I haven't worked in many jobs where the person in charge was of a different gender than I was, for the most part, right? So when these DEI programs came out, again, I had no idea what they were for, or what it was about. So when things started to happen, and I started to hear people say, "Yeah, man, that must be a DEI hire." My thought when I was hearing that was, oh shoot, they just putting anybody up in here and they're not even qualified.
And so that just reminds me of an individual who said, oh, I didn't know that the Affordable Care Act was the same as Obamacare.
And somebody said, I didn't know that the tariffs was a form of a tax.
And so here is my frustration, because one side, the right, is always saying something and it's giving it a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Like DEI and what did I just say? And CRT and affirmative action.
Yeah.
Like they're making it seem like it's bad, but then once you really say the words out, diversity, equity, inclusion, oh, well, that's good. I want that. Affordable Care Act, oh yeah, I want that. But you call it Obamacare because you're trying to give it a negative connotation.
Yeah.
So then you have this group of people who say, yeah, I don't want Obamacare. I want the Affordable Care Act. But because, you know what I'm saying? And they're saying it. So that, going back to the laziness or lack of motivation, whatever you want to call it, you didn't even educate yourself to know the difference.
Yeah, I get
You know
that.
what I'm saying? So it's like you coming with all this vitriol. I don't want the Obama. Well, why not? Yeah. What's different? So you tell me the difference between the two and why you don't want one over the other.
Yeah,
because they can't say, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know if people can or can't say it. I'll give you one. When they were doing this Me Too movement stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm all for women getting equality, but you're gonna have to get equal lefts if you want equal rights, because this thing isn't. The higher you get, the harder it is to get there, and the more cutthroat it is. And when you're trying to achieve something, I'm going to do everything I can to cut you down in order for me to achieve. And it's not necessarily because of your gender or your race. It's because I'm trying to do or get to a place of power or keep a place of power that I always had. And women were a threat to that, especially they were saying, I want to have equal pay. I want to have equal opportunity. Well, I've always been here and it's always been equal for me. So why should I have to fight for you when I've always had?
But that's the thing. If you've always had and you've always got, the thing about it is nobody's taking what you have.
That's what you think.
But we're just opening the door so that more people can come.
And the more people that come in, the more threat you are to me losing my position.
Well, then you know what you need to do? Make sure that you stay competitive.
Or just keep the door closed. It's easier for me to keep the door closed than to let everybody come in.
So that's why people don't like diversity, equity, inclusion.
And I think that probably could be more so the reason than anything else. Like, you're a threat to my job. Like,
and instead, that's what everything is. You're a threat to me.
You're a threat to me.
You're a threat to me.
You're a threat.
Because now you making me have to work hard to get what I got easy.
So to that point, right? You have a basket. Let's take basketball now, because you have a baseball team, right? You can't have a team of all catchers because no one's ever going to score. You're never going to get a run. You play darn good defense because everybody can catch, but all the games are going to be 0-0 because all people can do is catch.
Right.
You can't have a game of just hitters because no one can play defense.
Right.
So if all you do is come and you just go to the batting cage, that's it. Now, if you bring people in that know how to hit and catch, oh my God, that's an advantage. And run. But see, that's another
I know,
part.
so that's what I'm saying.
So,
it's layered.
But now, as the sport evolves, I only know how to do one thing. And I've been doing this one thing for so long. I don't know how to do this new thing. I don't want to do this new thing, or I'm scared to do this new thing. Either way, I'm paralyzed and I can't move forward. I'm going to begrudge this. It could be race, it could be sexism, it could be all the isms. But the first one is fear. I don't want to capitulate. I don't want to conform to this new thing. Like in basketball, Faye, the 3-point ball wasn't always prevalent. It was something that I think they started in the early 80s. Now everybody's shooting 3-pointers. Well, a lot of people old school are mad because they're like, well, it's easier for people to score now. Well, hey, sir, maybe if you had this in your repertoire as well, you would still be playing basketball. Because in the NBA, if you can shoot, not score, but if you're a good shooter, that's something that you're going to naturally have for the rest of your life. You'll never forget that, right? But if you're just strong and fast, as you get older and you age, you can't do some of the things anymore. So I can see why you begrudge the newness. Because
if I go out, you said, I don't want to do the thing, I don't want to do this extra work. Okay, you don't. So don't get mad at me that I did.
Oh, I so agree.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we mean. Don't get mad at the people who decided, well, you know what? I don't want to just sit here and be idle and just see what, where the chips gonna fall. I want to at least get some control of my life. So the way of doing that is to educate myself, is to expand my knowledge and to, broaden my horizons. But don't get mad at me, sir, ma'am, because you said, well, I don't feel like it. I'll let y'all do it. And then once we do it and you see us, you're like, well, they don't need to get it. Bring it back. Take it away. That's not fair.
It's like, how we were raised. When you want to achieve a thing, you're always told to do so much more, right? So for you, for example, you went and you graduated from high school. You had pretty good grades. You went to college immediately. You got your bachelor's degree in healthcare administration, right?
Administration.
You could have stayed there.
Yes.
But you knew how competitive the field was. Right. And there were people out there who had more experience on the job than you, Kimberly. There are people who had more network connections than you did. And there were people that had more education than you did, right? So all you had was about 5 years of experience and a college degree. What else can you do in this very highly competitive field to make yourself stand out? Exactly. You had to do that thing that we were taught. You got to be 2 to 3 times better than the other person, because while you're sleeping, they're working. And both of y'all are trying to get the same thing. So that's why you went back and got your master's, right? So you did go out and better yourself. I did not have my master's at the time. I didn't even have my bachelor's. So while you were doing that, I could have been like, man, who do you think you are? And I was like, dang, she about to just fly right past me. And at the time, you and I were finally making the same amount of money. Even though you had the degree, I didn't. I just had experience. I could have stayed in my position, which I did for about 10 years because I was like, well, I'm still making more money than you. But it wasn't until I got my degree like you did that I saw my ceiling. When I got my bachelor's, it just totally destroyed it. And then when I got my master's degree, it was just no limit to what I could do. And if I did not push myself to do better, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in now. Because I didn't begrudge what you did. I actually took that as, okay, I need to do something on my end to do better. Right. But everybody doesn't do that and think like that.
So that's my problem. So because you did not think like me or do the things that I did, you're going to be angry with me?
Yeah.
And you're going to just not like, so.
That's why people still, why people.
So is that not lazy? Going back to.
I agree.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's lazy. So
I agree.
I said so don't get mad. You sitting on your sofa, just not doing anything, and then the other person decides to go do something, and then they get all of the things that you think you should have from sitting on the sofa, and you get mad, and now you want to take the things. But the question is, why do you think you deserve that when all you did was sit on the sofa?
I've always had it.
Okay, but
I've never had to work like this before. See, this is it's so easy to say that. I've always had it.
Okay, so you can always have what you have, but I'm going to work hard and then I'm going to go get more.
Okay, but Kim, so my grandfather was able to get I don't know why.
And I'm going to tell you, for me, I never had it.
Okay, so that goes back to my problem.
So that's why I'm going to go get it, and you sitting here.
But you can go back and go get it. You can go back and go get it. I've never had to work for it before.
So that's what I'm saying. So because you never had to work for it, you just sitting there. But like I said, what's the difference between me and you to where I got to work for it, but you don't?
Look,
that's what I'm saying. And that's the problem. That's the problem that people don't get and don't want to address. Why do you sitting on a sofa think that you deserve what the person who went out there and worked has? Why do you think that?
I've always got it before.
Okay.
And I did not have to do this extra stuff until they started including all these new people. This wasn't what was the requirements before was for me to just check this box, and this box, and I was good. Because my grandfather only had to check that box, my father only had to check that box, and my uncles only had to check that box. Now it comes for me. Now all of a sudden, I got to jump through hoops and check a box?
Right.
Because they're bringing in all these other new people? Yeah. How's that fair to me?
It's not, because it's like technology, how technology changes. So you should want to do the same thing how your dad did. So you should be, so you're saying we should all still be in the horse and carriage. Wow. Because you don't want us to evolve. Because that's what it is.
Well, I want us to evolve.
I've always done it this way.
I want us to evolve.
So you can't say what I want us to evolve. You can't say you want us to evolve, but you want us to sit down. So life is changing, life is moving, and people out here are things is cultivating new things. So because new things are being created, you can't do the old things you used to do, because old doesn't work with new doesn't work with old.
I get it.
So you got to know how to navigate the new thing.
But you do have to agree that sometimes things move too fast, and it moves too fast before people are ready. Not that they don't want progress, it's just that I don't want it at this, because the way you guys are progressing, it is leaving me behind.
Okay, so take my hand and come with me.
And see, check this out. That's good. Dang, that was good. See, man, that's messed up because I can't even make my point. You suck.
Because it's just that simple. You don't have to get left. Nobody has to get left. And that's the thing. Nobody has to sit here and complain about, well, why don't I have? Kamala was out there making sure that everybody could have.
You can't do that, Kim. You cannot do that. People did not trust what she was saying.
Right.
So you can't get mad at people for trusting.
And people didn't trust what he said, or did trust what he said. Yes. And look at what he's doing.
What is he doing? He's doing exactly what people asked him to do.
He's doing exactly what he said.
Yes.
So,
he's doing exactly what people have asked him to do.
He's doing what he said he was going to do. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And then the people said, okay.
Listen. I'm okay with the government looking and doing an audit.
Looking don't mean you destroy it first. You don't burn down the house to see what's inside of it.
But see, that's the problem that we're in right now. I don't know the information that we're getting. And this goes back to my point of trust. You got 70 plus million people that trust a different information source than the others, right? So you have people who are looking at one news article and they're getting two different interpretations of it entirely. I'm talking about entirely. So what are you supposed to do? And it's done on purpose. Again, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. We have a kid in college and we have one that's going. And they're talking about defunding the Department of Education. And you got half the people in this country that's like, yeah, screw you, education, you got your clown degree and this is what you deserve. And, you pay all your money back because you suck. But all the while, you're cheering them giving billions of dollars to bail out banks that screwed you over by giving you loans you shouldn't have gotten and increased the interest rate that took your home away from you because they increased the payments. Who were bailing out insurance companies that weren't even paying for individuals who needed help with their policy. Like, these are the people who we're bailing out. Yet and still, our fellow neighbors got upset with those who were just going to get $10,000 to $20,000 forgiven on their student loan. Yep. It's asinine to me. Yep. Like, we say we care about our neighbors and we hate corporations, but once again, the entirety of the executive branch and its support are the majority oligarchs and billionaires. Yep. Like, you're telling people about their taxes, and now one of y'all have had to pay taxes, and then you're gonna cut Medicaid and Medicare for the most needy individuals. And people are like, yes, do that because the healthcare system is trash. Okay, what can you do to fix it? Let's just cut everything. But there's somebody who needs their insulin medication. And now it's 3 to 4 times the cost that it used to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not understanding the cheering. We're going to destroy the Department of Education. Do you know the repercussions? Because everybody doesn't.
I don't think people care.
Or do you believe that they think it's going to happen?
I think it's maybe both. I think people either don't care or they don't believe it's going to happen. And the reason why I say that I don't believe it's going to happen is because I've seen several videos of people saying, well, yeah, I voted for Trump, but I didn't think it would be this bad. So it was like what I was telling you the other day. What is the this? And what is the because when I was hearing him talking, it all sounded bad.
I'll give you one. I think I can't speak for the people on the right, but I can speak for people like myself in the middle. For a year, we were lied to. This administration, the previous administration, was telling everybody how great the economy was whilst prices were going up, how great the world was while we were having wars everywhere. Now, mind you, I know the United States wasn't responsible for those, but still, nonetheless, that administration had to take the burden therein. And it's like they made mistake after mistake. The Afghanistan withdrawal, and I understand it was very complex. The student loan, I understand that was very complex. Like, you bring in a new administration, right? And they say they're talking about change and they're going to do this. And then Roe v. Wade, boom, gone. Like, now, was it mifepristone or whatever? I guess that abortion medication was being looked at. You got people talking about abortion that have no idea what an abortion is. I think you and I were talking about how the fact a woman can go into the hospital and listen, everything is fine and they're about to give birth, but the baby is unalive. And so
to nobody's fault.
And but so, when it comes out,
and
it's
so the
not,
procedure to get that fetus out of that body is abortion. But because people hear that word, and because this one group of people put a negative connotation on it, that's what people are going to go with, and just going to say, well, it's not a form of birth control. No, it's not. But it's also a procedure. Now. So, it's called DNC.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But it's
Healthcare Administration. We can take that out.
No, I'm not. I'm keeping
that. I mean, yeah, but like I said, people need to educate themselves. So stop. And I guess my frustration is that people are voting on something and not getting the full understanding.
I don't know. I think they are getting the understanding from the people that they trust.
No, I mean, but it's full understanding.
Kimberly, I'm going to this church that I've been going to for 20 years. I trust what this woman and or man has been telling me. So when I go to this new church and I'm hearing something different, and it's from a spot that I've already heard rumblings about that they don't agree with where I'm at, and I'm comfortable with what I've been hearing thus far, and now you're saying something different, I don't believe it. Because what's truth? What is truth? Is it what you believe? Or is it the number of people who believe that thing? What do I mean by that? If 500 people believe that Jim Crow, believe that the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery, and there are only 600 people alive, 500 of them don't believe that the Civil War was fought over slavery. 100 of them do. So what's truth? After those 100 get silenced by the 500 and history is rewritten, it's not going to be written from the 100's point of view. It's going to be written from the 500's point of view, because the victor is the one
tells the story.
Exactly. If a lot of people believe that DEI is something that is dangerous, there's nothing that you can tell them to convince them otherwise. Because what do they say about the truth? It's tying his shoes.
The truth is tying his shoes while the
lie made his way around the earth about 3-4 times. And it's easier to lie to somebody than to convince them that they've been lied to.
Yep.
Like,
so 92% was saying, hey, y'all.
Nobody cared.
Hey, guys. Hey, don't do it. Don't listen. And he's like, nah, I don't believe it.
So back to DEI. So there are stories out there in the news that talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And again, and I believe it's the way that it's presented to people. The way you present that is the way that the people are going to receive it. And if you're presenting DEI as an existential crisis to a certain group of individuals, if you're telling someone, we're going to expand the business, I would be happy that our business is growing, right?
Right.
And that means you're going to bring in more people to come in to grow it and make it even better. But some of those people that come in there are going to have different ideas from you. They're going to have a better way. Some of those people that come in are going to have different ideas from you. They're going to have a better way of tackling a problem than you are. And it might mean you don't have a job anymore. People feel like life is evolving and leaving them out. And I get it. But Kim, again, I think the wrong thing is being argued here. Seriously. It goes back to what you're being presented and how it's being presented to you, how it's being packaged to you. To one group of people, it's being packaged to them that another group of people is trying to take from them. And then this other group of people is told, hey, this group of people over here, they hate you because of whatever, skin, race, sex, gender, whatever. And so you have someone who's just whispering in this person's ear, telling them something about them, whispering in this person's ear, telling them something about them, throwing chum out in the water, sitting back and watching them fight over each other. Look at that. Look, they both are hungry and are fighting over the crumb. And I have a storage facility full of food. Mm-hmm. And we're mad at each other because the way you're fighting me isn't the way I would fight you to get this crumb. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to fight you, and I'm going to create laws and legislation to justify my fight because you don't have a right to this. I do. But this person's sitting up here with a storage room full of resources, and we're fighting. It's the Mr. Beast, I guess, that movie the TV show we saw. Yeah. And here this man is extremely wealthy, and he invites all these people who have a need. One of the men had a son who had a brain condition. The other one was like $500,000 in debt and all of this stuff. And rules were set in place. And as the game progressed, it became evident that the more conflict that there was in this game, the more entertaining it would be. So there was one instance where they would put really close people up against really close people who were friends in the game. And they would make them fight over small resources. Yeah. And the person knew the other's story. And before before the game even started, they talked about how, oh man, you're my brother, you're my sister, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's like the creator of the game saw that and said, I got something for you. And so as the game was being played and the rules were being put into place to make everyone more adversarial to each other, they started fighting each other while Mr. Beast was just sitting there like, bruh, can you believe that? Whilst he has his thumb on the scale. And look, nothing against him because I watched it. Yeah. And I won't watch anything like that again because I felt bad looking at it. Yeah. like the dude that won the $10 million. Why couldn't you split that with the second place person? That didn't even come up into your mind. But the people in the game who did not have were sacrificing for the people who were in need, and they didn't have.
Will somebody really like forsake themselves and for their brother or for their sister?
Because in that
me, that's the overall underlying like thing they're trying to change.
Because remember, in that game, that was it was put out there. Like if you recall, if it was an instance where 4 individuals were standing up, and if they would have pressed the button, they would have left with some money. But if they would have left with that money and pressed that button, a whole bunch of other people would have had to go, right?
Right.
Before the game started, those people voted the 4 up there with the trust that, hey man, regardless of what that number says, don't press the button.
You're gonna look out for us.
You have the VA. You know, I would like to have veterans who are educated, veterans who are educated and who've been in battle, veterans who are educated and have been spouses, veterans who are educated, have been in battle and are spouses and have a disability. Like, oh my God. But if I just limit it to someone who has a high school degree, I just put a ceiling as to how successful our organization could be. Or if I just say, okay, you have to have these qualifications, but the pool that I fish from is just men who've never served and have no one in their family who served.
Yeah. It's like a person that's having a job fair and then they go to a daycare to try to get the people. Like, you know, these people can't do this work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a specific need of whatever that I need to get done. But this is the pool that I've always pulled from. So
right. I'm just gonna
get these. That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's the pool I've always pulled from. So when you tell me, but okay, and that is crazy. But when you tell that pool, hey guys, we're gonna include you, but we're also gonna include this creek over here as well. What y'all need to know about these people in this creek is they have this and you guys don't.
Yes.
And so we're going to include everyone, inclusion.
Right.
We're going to include everyone in this diverse group and give everyone equal opportunity to get this job
included.
And then when you don't get it, what are you going to blame?
Oh, they must have got it because of DEI. Boom. Yeah. So they just had a quota they needed
to
fill. And that's not what it is. Because it's like what you said. If you have a brand of something and you are trying to get a target audience, you need a member of that target audience to be at the table. Yes. You can't have a whole bunch of, white women at a table and they're trying to think of black women's hair.
Right.
Like, because you don't even want to bring any other opinions there to even let you know that this is what's going on. Because that's what DEI is. Yeah. It's just getting more different perspectives.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I want to get a different perspective. I want to look at this art thing. Okay, what do you see? I see this. What, like those psychological tests. If you see this, then you must be whatever. So that's what everything is. Everybody can look at something, the same thing, and see something different. Yeah. And that's all that is. We just need more ideas at the table. Yeah. You can still have the final say, but just let me say what I gotta say so you can at least have this information that you need to make informed decisions.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll watch something on TV and you'll say, I've heard you say it a number of times. So you mean to tell me everybody said that this was okay to come out with a movie called The Magical Negro?
Yeah. Everybody at the table thought this was okay.
Like somebody said, you know what? Let's have a movie in this environment that talks about a black man who's just here to serve white folks.
Right. Everybody agree? All right. Right. So there was no black person at the table to say, I don't really know if this is a good idea because of X, Y, and Z. And I can give you reasons. I can give you the X, Y, and Z reasons. And it's not hyperbole. It's not assumptions. It's what I know.
Right.
I know that these people feel this way about that. So that's not going to work. So if your goal is to make money, you're not going to make money with that. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. And that's all DEI is. It's just for multiple people to tell you a better way to make your money or to get your stuff.
Like Dre did on Blackish, Grownish.
Yeah.
He was in marketing, advertising.
Marketing, I think.
Yeah. And so like for urban, he would do urban stuff. And they had a team, But you don't want to put a group of individuals, and it doesn't matter your skin color. Okay, I'm gonna take that out. But you don't want to have an urban division, right? And put individuals on there that have no idea about that kind of culture, right? You don't want to take a rural division and put someone who has no idea what that culture is like and have them market and advertise to that group. Absolutely. It's not that you're not qualified, right, to do that. It's just that this isn't your niche. And it just, that's why we have to broaden, because think about it, Faye. We're a marketing firm, right? And so we're advertising to rural people. But now they have some urban areas as well. So we want to expand, our marketing division. If we take this new division and take old people who can't relate to them, one of two things are going to happen. They're going to make a bad impression, and we're going to lose that business. But if we bring in people that understand that group, we can expand our business and make the entire business more money because you're going to bring in more people and you're going to need more help. And so then we can start cross-training. I can take some of the people in our rural division, since it's starting to blow up, and put them in our urban division since it's starting to blow up, and vice versa. So we can make sure that
we're all
inclusive.
Knowledgeable. Yes, we're included. Everybody is included on this knowledge.
Yes.
So it's not that one person has the monopoly on this information.
Yes. So
that's all it is.
Yes. So if you come to the store and you see that it's a whole bunch of people in line and all you know how to do is push that broom, I want to hire the person that knows how to work the register, clean the store, take a customer complaint, stock it, and close it. I will give you $17 an hour, sir, ma'am, but I'm not going to give the person here who just pushes a broom and can't help me when there's an influx of individuals that comes in. All you can do is just sweep around them. You're not of value to me.
Exactly.
So I need to diversify my workforce. I need people in here that know how to think on their feet. I need people that know how to do math and not just something physical. I need people that know how to do graphics and not just something physical. I need different people with different ideas, with a diverse way of thinking.
You know why that word particularly confuses me?
Diverse?
In this situation, in this scenario, as to why they want to get rid of it, right?
Okay.
Because think of diversity and think of stock.
Oh, wow.
Right, and all of these. What do they say to how to expand your portfolio?
Oh, you want to diversify.
You want to have diversity.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have all of your stock in, automobiles. You don't want to have all of your stock in pharmacy. You got to diversify.
Yes,
in tech.
And
that's all it is. So what's the difference between the stock market and diversity and real life and diversity? Because it's the same.
Well, no, it's not, because one is a threat to me and the other one isn't.
No, they're not, because the example that you just said is not a threat, because if we're all together, then we can all grow and expand. And the bigger you expand and the more work we all got to do. We still got more work to do because it's so much work to do because we expanded it so much.
The way that stuff is set up, they have us thinking that racism is America's biggest problem. And it's not. America's biggest problem is capitalism. Because if people who were black and brown had the exact same resources as our Caucasian brothers and sisters, guess what you would not need? Half of the programs that they have in DC, they have those programs not to give those people an advantage. They have HBCUs not as an advantage to Harvard. They have HBC, historically black colleges and universities, because it was unknown for people who looked like us to go to predominantly white institutions. And that's because it's hard for certain people that look like me to get in those positions to afford you to. Did not say you could not do it, because I know our Asian brothers and sisters can do it, just like our Hispanic brothers and sisters can do it. But it's still harder. And I'm not expecting every CEO to be a woman. I'm not expecting every COO to be black. I'm not expecting every chief financial officer to be a Hispanic woman. No, I understand that there's more of one group of people than the other. I just want to see more representation of those same people who are qualified. My whole reason for coming on here, I'm trying to get like real understanding, not trying to get stuff stitched up to go viral. I don't understand why there is so much
animus.
Yeah, it's
hatred and
animus
vitriol.
towards Americans.
Yeah.
Both of us are, because we'll see somebody who's getting deported and they voted for it, and like, see, that's what you get. Ha! Sip my tea, I ain't gonna say nothing. And then we'll see somebody that got fired and say, that's what you get. You shouldn't work for the federal government. And all these people are doing is trying to just live. So I don't believe someone would vote for their own destruction unless they trust the messenger. So we need to get upset with the people who are giving the message. I mean, fight me on that. Come on.